What's going on, guys? Zach and Nate here once again with the Pre-Pump Show, and we're going to talk about supplementation. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We appreciate all the love and support. I'm here with my brother Zach. How you doing today, bro?
Doing great, Nate. How are you?
Pretty solid, bro. It's a Monday, new week, new day, and just got to thank God, man, for another day.
Amen to that.
Some people, I would say, aren't here today, and or if anything, are in worse circumstances than we are. So I think going back to our podcast, we talked about gratitude, just being thankful for another day is all I can say.
Starting the podcast episode with a lot of deep life talk. Wow.
Yeah, that's how it is, bro. Um, even I actually want to touch on this. Have you ever heard of the statistic of actually how many people die a day?
No, hit me.
I think it's like 150,000
Really?
people die a day, around that number.
That's crazy.
It's like you're never guaranteed tomorrow, bro. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
You hear about that Joe Aesthetics guy?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
You hear about Bronny James he went into cardiac arrest during a basketball practice a few days ago?
Yeah, I did.
Crazy.
He's like 18, right?
Yep.
So he's like, dude, you never know, man.
Healthiest individuals.
Yeah. I was watching the news, not in the news, but people in the news were talking about it on social media, and they said actually like quite a bit of athletes like him get that
Yeah.
cardiac arrest. It's like 1 out of something, right? One out
Yeah.
of 6 or something.
It's scary.
So that's a big question, topic in itself, right? Like, why do healthy individuals go through these crazy situations?
Yeah.
Watch me and you hit something next. Hey, it's all in God's hands now, so nothing we can do, right? But hey, supplementation, guys. They were talking about taking care of the body, being a healthy individual. Supplementation, I think, falls in line with this. The reason why we wanted to talk about it is because it's a huge topic, and I think a lot of individuals who start their fitness journey start looking into supplementation because either they want to enhance their performance or just get to their goals quicker, right? We initially wanted to talk about this because we want to help navigate someone like you who's looking into investing and learning more about supplements and all the right reasons you should start taking supplements, and just kind of guide you in the right direction when it comes to considering, if you should start taking supplements. So, with that being said, Zach, let's dive into just the basic understanding of what supplements are.
Yeah, so pretty much supplements are exactly what the word actually is. In the nutrition aspect, they are some type of medicine, you could say, which allows you to fill in the gaps of certain deficiencies, whether it's in a macro or micronutrient that you might not be getting in your normal daily diet.
Yeah. Supplements are supplements. It's exactly that. They're not the main source of which you get your nutrients or essential vitamins from or minerals, right? So, again, they are just a bonus, I would say, or an add on to your just health journey. And like Zach said, they're to fill in those gaps, right? So, we're going to dive into a little bit more what that looks like. Our next point here we're going to talk about is like when you should and shouldn't take them, right? So when it comes to supplements, right, these again aren't the main source at which you should, rely on when it comes to your health. So with that being said, I think that supplements are only good for when you are actually consistent or actually have first and foremost a good nutrition, you know, um, in your life already. If you have a good nutrition plan that you're sticking to or that you're making a lifestyle, um, that's when I think is a good sign in which you should start taking supplements, because you never want to just dive right in supplements, right, when you're not consistent with your nutrition or on a nutritional healthy diet. And then two, obviously, if you're not even consistent with your training. Wouldn't you agree, Zach?
Yeah, I think equally as important, the training needs to be dialed in and consistent
Right.
alongside the nutrition.
Equally, yes. We see too many guys asking us for advice on, hey, what supplements should we take? Or, hey, do you think this supplement's good? It's like, hold on. before we even get there, let's talk about your diet and your training.
Hmm.
What does that look like first? And then maybe we can start considering supplements.
Right, it's like a cheat code. We all try to find that thing that's going to give us the extra boost without having to do what's actually necessary.
Right.
Like, what's the quickest way to lose weight? What's the quickest way to build muscle?
Hmm.
Supplements, a lot of people believe it's just a quick way to finding their fitness goals.
Right. Yeah. And I think if you even look up like, okay, what's the biggest supplement um, consuming supplement out there, right? What's the biggest consuming supplement? Like if you think about a marketing aspect, as far as people who want to get there faster,
Hmm.
like I'm assuming, I don't even know this if this is the right thing, but I would assume that like, hey, fat burners would be probably up there because people want to burn fat quick,
They are.
and they
They
are,
actually are,
right? That's
yeah.
what I felt like. So, you know, that says everything in itself right there. Is like, hey, most of the time people want to get supplements because they want to get to the goals quicker. Whereas good fitness coaches like Zach and Nate here are encouraging you to actually go back to the basics and hey, take the advice and listen to say or to hear someone tell you, let's put in the work first, right? Like let's get back to, the hard work that it's going to take for you to get to your goals. That way you build good habits over a lifetime or a period of time in your life to which now becomes a lifestyle, right? Then you don't have to worry about the basics anymore. Now you can actually think about supplements and what's actually going to take you to that next level.
And not just from a fitness goals standpoint. You should also be taking nutrients if you have any type of like deficiency.
Mm.
And believe it or not, most of us, everyone I think has at least one vitamin deficiency. So it's essential for everyone to be supplementing in some fashion to be able to just live the most optimal healthy lifestyle, because a lot of people nowadays are like walking around zombie like have you ever read any of the articles of people being so zombie like, being so tired, not being able to think? It
Hmm.
all comes back to being nutrient deficient.
Right. Yeah. Excuse me. Absolutely. I totally agree. And it's like if you really want to actually take your health to the next level or live in the most optimal way where at which your body performs the best and even you feel the best, like that's when you got to start considering, where are your levels at, like for just your typical, normal day to day, um, what would you call those? Just like nutrient levels and um,
Energy, cognitive
energy.
ability,
Yeah, just what your body
everything.
needs to function, right? All the right levels at which your body needs to function at an optimal level, or even at a healthy rate or
Mm-hmm.
normal rate. So, um, let's dive into our next point here. It's like we're going to talk about okay how to take them. This is not going to be so specific here, just kind of a general idea, like three things here on like how to take them because we do get a lot of questions. People ask like, hey, how do you take these? And most of the time, like for a beginner who wants to get into supplements, okay, like just read what the label says, right? The label is going to give you sort of a, I would say, the basic beginner intake level. Um, and then from there you can actually go into okay, what does your dietitian or doctor say on how to take these, right? They're going to have the best sort of knowledge, and specific, scientific levels at which okay, instead of maybe taking, two vitamin D pills in the morning and night, I want you to increase that to four because maybe you lack vitamin D. Maybe you're not outside as often, so you're inside and you work in a building or something like that. You need more vitamin D. Maybe they'll encourage you to take four pills in the morning and night versus two. So, and then last, you can ask just an experienced coach. Someone who's done their research, like Zach. I know he's definitely took the time to research a lot of, you know, just maybe the average male or woman in which how many where their vitamin levels need to be at, right? Or their micronutrients. So for Zach, like he's so researched knowledgeable that he doesn't really have to read the directions on the label. He can just say, okay, for me, I'm gonna take you know uh, two pills of calcium, and you got to understand the dosages, right? Like what is your dosage need to be at? Do the right math to which you can either go up to that level or increase it from there.
And it gets pretty complicated. It's not just milligrams and grams. You get the IUs and stuff
All
like
right.
that. So it's great to get like a professional's intake or insight on how to make sure you're supplementing correctly.
Yeah, exactly. So let's dive in, Zach, to some actual specifics here. We're going to talk about more of the performance supplements right now. And then we'll dive into the nutrient supplements like the vitamins and minerals and stuff. But we're going to actually get into the more of the fun stuff right now. And it's funny because Zach and I, we kind of go back and forth a little bit on like, hey, you know, should you take a BCAAs, right? Is that full of just, is that overrated and underrated? So actually, we're going to do a little bit of overrated and underrated here when we talk about the more performance supplements. So let's dive right in here. Let's talk about protein powder.
The biggest supplement in the fitness industry.
Yes.
I think it's underrated for sure.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I would agree here for sure.
So this is why I'll state my opinion on why I think it's underrated. Um, Protein powder, I believe, is the foundation of like a body, a muscular body. Without protein powder, without like an efficient protein goal you're hitting, which you probably aren't doing with regular whole foods if you're in a deficit, like you're not going to be able to gain muscle. People are talking about taking creatine, taking a bunch of different pre-workouts and stuff to try to build on muscle without taking protein powder. And it's like you're just adding icing onto a cake that's not there. Like, what's the point of not taking protein powder?
I do want to maybe reword things because I feel like maybe some people would have heard you and said that protein powder is the main source, which I know you understand it's not, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like meat, right? Or other protein, like protein food sources is the main source.
correct. Yeah.
But we're talking about supplements here. So I think that what Zach's saying is that protein powder is that priority supplement that most people should actually is underrated because people think more like of the other stuff that we're going to get into here in a
Mm.
second. But protein powder, I would say, is the best supplement out there. Exactly what Zach said because you're actually going to ensure that you're getting the right protein that you need for your body to actually build muscle, recover, and just um, go through that protein synthesis. Especially, if you want to get into the whole window of after or before your workout, making sure you get in your protein in. Like protein powder is a quick source of protein, right? Instead of having to go through a digestive, system, your body just consumes it right away because it's in powdered form. So, you're getting protein in your system right away.
And one of the cool things about protein powder is it's actually a pretty healthy supplement to take.
Right.
Like if you read the ingredients, you'll see maybe there's a whole foods protein that you're looking at. There's chicken, there's fish, there's different types of proteins. Like it's real food that
Right.
they're just grounding up.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and it's most proteins are very low in fat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very high in protein. Carbs is low, and then calories is low too. So if you think about a protein shake that could actually, replace a meal, you're getting good quality source of protein with low fats and decent carbs.
I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot about like the nutrient side of it.
Yeah.
It's like an absolute glitch. If you're
Yeah.
on like a weight loss or just fat loss in general and muscle building like phase in your fitness, uh, protein powder, absolute glitch.
Mhm.
120 calories for 24 grams of protein.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. So, when you think about protein, we're going to get into costs as well. Protein, I would say, is generally, for a month's worth is probably going to be anywhere from 30 to $50. But you have to realize that each scoop could replace a meal, right? So you're getting like 30 servings times like what would you times five, or what would you times five? If you think about a meal, how much would a meal cost compared to a scoop of protein? Then it's like you're getting a bang for your buck,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because like a meal a day is ridiculously high compared to a scoop a day. You're definitely getting a good source of protein in there. If you compare it to like something like chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely consider that when you're thinking about buying protein. Like you're actually buying a meal of worth of like servings for a scoop. So let's move on to the next one. We're actually going to dive a little bit here into just the difference between whey and versus casein. I would say a lot of people don't understand or know about casein, especially if we're talking to beginners here. Like, what is casein? And then we'll talk about the difference between whey and casein.
So casein is actually just it's a protein powder, but it's just made up of different ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of I don't know specifically like what the main protein source is, but I know that there's a lot more cakey ingredients within casein that actually like allows you to like bake with it or cook with it.
Mm,
So it's more it's better to be at high temperatures than
mm,
whey protein.
right,
Because I think whey, there's studies that it actually says like it gets toxic or something, like
right.
if it gets too hot and you don't get like all the protein out of it.
Yeah.
You heard? Have you?
Yeah, I think it's just at a slow temperature cook, right? So it's
Mm,
like you're preserving all the nutrients and the protein.
yeah,
Whereas like I really didn't do too much research on casein as far as like the which temperature you do, but um I know that for most, and this is for my case, I'm sure you could say on the other side of it too, where it's like for guys who are actually trying to put on muscle, they you would recommend them casein at night. It's like a protein shake because it actually digests very slow, so which it will keep you full throughout the night, in which your body isn't going through sort of a normal fast if you were just to take if you weren't to take anything at night, um, or even if you compared it to a regular whey protein, your body would digest the protein really quick, whereas casein would kind of keep you full until the next morning, or at least maybe like 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours, maybe. I don't even think that long, but like,
yeah, you're definitely right. Can I get geeky on this
yeah,
real
let's
quick?
let's hear it.
All right, so a lot of people talk about fast and slow digesting carbs, like a Rice Krispie versus oatmeal,
Right?
for
Yeah.
example. No one talks about fast and slow digesting proteins.
Mm,
So if you're trying to lose weight, I would recommend a casein protein. Like Nate said, it's going to keep you more full for longer and allow your body to actually run on nutrients. Sure, it might break your fasting window a little bit more just because you're going to be digesting for longer, but that's okay.
yeah.
If you're trying to gain as much weight, muscle mass as possible, then the fast digesting of whey protein is so much better. You're going to be able to drink more throughout the day. Um, you're going to be able to not feel as full, so you can actually eat more. And it's just a unique concept that a lot of people don't think about fast digesting proteins, and people just think about like the fast and slow carb
Yeah.
digestions.
Well, that's why I say casein for guys who actually trying to put on weight and muscle would do it at night.
Yeah.
Like I would say, casein and whey, they would be on both. Whey would be obviously throughout the day or during or close to their workout, whereas casein would be at night, just to keep that guy who's trying to gain weight more
Mm-hmm.
full throughout the night, and just to it's like a meal you're eating before you go to bed or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um,
Because you want your body to be running on food rather than just your own body, or
yeah,
else,
and
yeah,
then you're losing gains,
losing
man.
gains. So protein powder. Before we keep going, do you recommend people to break a fast with a protein shake? Have you ever done that?
I've not done myself. I actually do sometimes for my clients who I do have do fasting, um, just because it's like a great way to get in a quick source of protein to break your fast. Right? It doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be. Um, I mean, depends on if you're adding carbs to it, or if you're making an actual smoothie or shake. But I think it's a great way to break your fast. To just start off with some solid protein.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you answering that. Now let's go on to the next one, and I'll let Nate tackle this. Whey versus isolate protein.
Yeah, so there's the difference between whey and isolate is just the difference of it being more lean than the other. Whey is going to contain a lot more milky content, which is like just cow's milk, right? Straight cow's milk. Again, I would say for someone who is trying to bulk, whey, regular whey, I think it's just say whey concentrate. Whey protein is going to be more for you. And there's also like for people who can do well with milk or aren't lactose intolerant, whereas people who may be lactose intolerant or maybe can handle a little bit of milk, isolate's going to be better for them. Um, and also talking about digesting, whey is going to be a little bit more slower because it does contain that thicker milk, whereas isolate's going to be quick digesting. It's going to be lean. And then you also can look at the macronutrients, whereas I believe whey has a little bit more grams of fat per serving, compared to isolate, it's going to be a lot lower. Um, and then just the quality too in protein. Like um, I think isolate has a little bit more quality protein than just normal whey. It is more expensive. That's what you're getting, the bang for your buck. So just understand that. I think if you're trying to go on a cut, whey isolate is going to be a lot more better for you. But then at the end of the day, it's like, does it really matter? For me, I'm a bodybuilder. It's like if I'm doing a show, of course it's going to matter. But if for like an average person who's just trying to get in better shape, maybe build some muscle, um, I think at this point it's more of a reference, or not a yeah not a reference but a preference. Sorry, a more of a preference at which for me I don't do well with milk sometimes. So like I've tested it where I've tried whey in the past and it just doesn't sit well with me. Whereas isolate, it feels clean, it feels natural, and I feel good when I take isolate. So just wanted to touch on that because there is a difference, but test it yourselves and let me know what you guys think. Next topic, huge. Underrated or overrated? Creatine.
Oh, it's tough, but I don't know. I kind of want to say, oh, there's a fine line. I think people make it overrated, but I do think it's an essential supplement if you're on a fitness journey. What's your take on that?
I would say underrated. I think everybody knows about it, but yet kind of still sleeps on creatine. Like that's why I say underrated because it's well known and people talk about just the scientific evidence that it's just one of the best like natural muscle building and performance supplements out there. But I think people still sleep on it. Like people aren't taking it every
Yeah.
day, and my body's definitely reacted well to creatine. Um, Even when obviously in the beginning years of my journey, I was taking creatine. I think it was like eighth grade. I remember just taking creatine, and I felt like I was making decent progress. I got beginner gains really well. But let's talk about creatine because creatine, it's like, okay, why should someone take it? And what does it really do?
Yeah, so it actually helps in both aspects of. We're not even talk about brain cognate like brain function right now. We're going to talk purely gains, fitness
Yeah,
gains. It's going to allow your muscles to look bigger and actually stronger, and allow you to have more energy within the gym, more
yeah,
ATP.
yeah.
So, do you want to break this down scientifically? Like, you want me to
You
like?
could
Should we
break it
get
down a little bit. Just a little bit of the ATP side of it, like what that does. And
So pretty much, guys, what creatine does is it allows your body to force water into your muscles, making it bigger, making it stronger. More water is just better energy levels.
mhm.
But one of the negatives here is now you don't have a lot of water in your bloodstream, so now you need to actually be intaking a little bit more water. We see a lot of people get a lot of dehydration side effects when they're on creatine just because they don't know what they're doing and they're not drinking enough water. But yeah, what additions do you got for
Yeah,
creatine?
I would say, water is important. They always say drink a lot of water when you take creatine, which then most people think, oh shoot, like I'm not drinking enough water. Creatine's gonna like, I would say the risk levels are very low when it comes to taking creatine, even if you're not drinking a lot of water. I think you do really have to have a very low consumption of water to actually experience the risk side effects. But definitely still drink a lot of water. With that being said, I mean, gallon a day, keeps whatever away. I don't know what it keeps away, but I would say gallon is a solid minimum to just supporting your health journey. Um, Keeps the supplements going, not supplements, but the nutrients going, your digestive system going. Just your body does consume, a lot of water, right? I don't, you know, we can debate on the percentage, but um, yeah, creatine's great for you. And if you're looking to, really put on some solid muscle, as long as your training and nutrition is on point, creatine's really going to increase, enhance those benefits. So
And if you're trying to lose weight and you're on creatine, you might see an initial spike on the scale just by a few pounds, just because of all the water retention in your muscles. So don't be discouraged by that.
yeah, don't be discouraged. Definitely, I would say take creatine even on your weight loss
Hmm.
journey. I have my clients hop on creatine when we're trying to do a cut, because at the end of the day, it's not about the weight; it's about how you look and feel. And our goal is to build muscle, burn fat, and that's exactly what creatine is actually going to help you do. As you build more muscle, you're actually going to burn more fat, right? So if you want to build more muscle, take creatine, and it's also obviously going to help you in the gym with your performance and energy levels. So,
Question: is creatine your number two on top supplement list?
absolutely,
Yeah, me
yeah.
too.
We're gonna dive into. Should we do pre workout or BCAs first?
I'm down for whatever.
Let's
What do
do
you
pre
want
workout
to?
because
Okay.
I would say this is probably the third. I think third top supplement.
Yeah, I agree. I
So if
agree.
you're looking to, most people, right? They have 9 to 5s, or maybe they got to wake up early. You know, they're exhausted, right? If you want to have a good workout, it's like, or if you're having, or if you're not having good workouts because you have low energy, pre-workout is going to be the best sort of boost that you're going to get, that you're going to actually benefit from for having a good workout. Um, and again, I mean, there's so many variables that matter here, because it's like, okay, how do you train? Do you actually
Yep. Yep.
bring the intensity, right? Because like you can get super hyped, but actually train like a you know
Yeah. Yeah.
B. But yeah, so pre-workout, there are a lot of different types of pre-workouts. There's stim versus non-stim, right? That's really just, okay, is there caffeine in there, is there not caffeine? And then there's, pre-workout's going to help with that blood flow, right? You're going to get a good pump. And then you can talk about the whole brain functionality when it comes to taking pre-workout and what that does to you. Is there beta alanine in there that's going to make your body face tingle, right? So it gives you the jitters. um, there's a lot of things that come with pre-workout.
There are, and one of the best reasons to be taking pre-workout is because you'll get a better pump, more blood flow. Whatever muscles you're hitting, you're going to be able to feel it more.
Mm-hmm.
When you can feel the muscle more, better engagement, better mind-muscle connection, better overall workout because you're hitting the muscles that you're supposed to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. So enough said there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into BCAs, and you can talk about EAAs as well. EAAs. um, so me and Zach here kind of probably have different opinions. So I would say, and just share my part, and we can let Zach have it, is when you're consistent with your diet, when you're consistent with your training, if you're natural and you're trying to get the most out of your fitness journey, BCAs and EEAs, I would say, are going to help, I would say, recover energy and also muscle building, because it's going to sort of speed up the process a little bit, I would say. Especially if your diet isn't that on point, you're not getting enough protein in, you're not getting all the essential acids. That's basically what the AA stand for, is amino acids. Branch chain amino acids are the, what? How many is it? Like nine,
Yeah.
amino acids, which the body doesn't, or the EAAs are the essentials. So those are the ones that your body does produce, whereas the BCAs. Am I saying that correctly, or am I mixed up on that?
I think in terms of what your body produces and what your
Yeah,
body.
your body produces the EAAs. That's why I think it's called the essentials.
Yeah.
Um, And so it's like you wouldn't necessarily need the EAAs just because your body already produces those things. But branch chain amino acids, I believe, contains all the EAAs but more, and which it's gonna sort of help speed up the process of just muscle recovery and building. So again, if you're someone who is consistent with all the right things, nutrition, diet, water intake, and you're on a solid plan, I would say you're gonna actually benefit from BCAs. Now, I would say it's overrated because, um, again, I was doing a bodybuilding show a year ago. I was taking both BCAs and EAAs, and what I'm the mindset and standpoint in which I'm coming from is, I'm going to do the most I can and take the most I can naturally, all the right things to get the most out of my sort of prep or preparation, right? Whereas if you're just an average person, I would say it's going to be overrated. You don't necessarily need to take branch chain amino acids or EAAs, because at the end of the day, you just still need to build those habits of eating consistently right and training right. So there's my point. Now you can have it.
I think you already hit the rebuttal on the head. Like, I don't think I can add any more to that because I agree with if you're not already someone who is doing all the necessary things in order to reach your fitness goals and trying to literally like be beyond the bar,
Like max out your,
yeah, then I don't think it's necessarily needed.
especially natural, right? Like,
Yeah. And it's not like a creatine type of enhancement
right,
where it's like gonna just absolutely, whether you're on or off it, you're gonna be able to feel it, like,
mhm,
or notice it. So I don't. I've never been a huge fan of the BCAA's, and you're already getting amino acids in your protein powder, in your pre-workout.
yeah,
So if you're already taking other supplements, you're probably more than likely getting a lot of, if not most of, the amino acids
right,
that your body needs.
yeah. And you gotta think about the right dosages here as well. Like, I mean, you just said that you're probably gonna get a little bit in some
Yeah.
other things, but it's
Yep.
like how much.
True.
And so BCA is typically is 5 grams, right? You can take more if you want it; it's not necessary. But then you're actually getting all the, you know, maxed out uh, amino acids that your body actually needs, your muscles need to start that protein synthesis going, that muscle recovery and muscle building. I would say, as just my experience in testing things out, have experienced just less soreness. If anything, I was sore, but not as you know um, long as I would normally be. I mean, mind you, too, it's hard to dictate what supplements are doing exactly what if you're taking so much
Hmm.
stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, creatine helped me build muscle, but I was also taking these things, so it's kind of just hard to say that it was only creatine that helped me build muscle. Whereas, it would be easier to say, spot specific things if you're just taking one at a time.
Good
But
points. I got a few things to comment on that.
yeah,
It's good. That's a good tip or pointer to listen to people who you know are on a good diet and nutrition program, like an elimination type of diet.
yeah,
So you can actually validate their opinions and the way they felt, because they've been on the same diet for so long that they
yeah,
know it's this one thing that they've implemented where they feel different.
right, exactly.
And that's where you can trust an experienced coach, you can trust a dietitian, because it's literally our jobs. We do this for a living.
Yeah, yeah, we've trialed and error, and
Hmm.
that's sort of what you, in a sense, pay for, or
Yeah. Yeah.
you know that we've already been there, done that, and don't have to waste your time doing that. You can just hit us up. So
And hold on, can I add another thing?
sure,
So involving Nate talking about the difference between getting amino acids in a BCAA rather than just a pre-workout or protein powder. I like how he mentioned that, and I want to add on to think about those things when you're looking for a pre-workout. If you're getting a stim, make sure caffeine isn't the most dosed and only ingredient that's in it. Make sure there's actually things that you're looking for when it comes to the pump or like strength ingredients.
yeah, yeah, and it's gonna take some time to understand. Okay, what are all the important things that you need when it comes to choosing the right supplement? Like Zach said, you want to make sure that, like for example, some pre-workouts have 300 milligrams, 350 milligrams of caffeine, whereas some only have 150, right, per
Mm-hmm.
serving. So you got to ask yourself, what do you truly need? I feel like for the average person, you don't need 3 to 350 unless you're just trying to freaking go balls to walls, or you literally legit want to go work out, but you just don't have the energy to, and just need to like flip that switch on. Um, and then it's like you don't even have to take that every single day, right? You can just take it on leg days, or
Mm-hmm.
days that you're gonna have to push but don't have the energy for it. So it all really just depends on your goals, right? We're gonna dive into that as far as like what to consider when buying supplements as well, and that's actually one of them is does those things, like, does the supplements you're investing in align with your goals? Like if you're trying to build muscle, you're not gonna buy a fat burner.
True. True.
Um, okay, so let's move on here. We got the post and intra formulas. These are, again, I would say if you're trying to max out your potential in performance and results, um, my coach had me on intro workout, and this is something you would take during your workout, right, to help support your energy levels, endurance, I would say, and then because I mean, I would say, for example, and this is something I've tested, right? I've obviously trained without intra workout, and I've trained with intra workout. And in my own experience, while taking intra workout, I've actually felt like I've had an extra push, or at least I've lasted longer through my workout. Whereas maybe halfway through the workout, doing some really compound heavy lifts, I've used all my energy. And when I'm not taking intra workout, that energy sort of dips a little bit. And now I'm just like barely trying to get through my last end of the workout. Whereas if I sometimes do take intra workout, I don't feel like that. I actually have some energy even afterwards, after I'm done with my workout. Again, that all depends on how much intensity I'm bringing through the workout, what I'm doing, if it's legs compared to maybe arms. You use more energy when you do bigger body part. But again, that's my input. At the end of the day, I don't really feel like it's necessary to for a beginner who's you know on a budget and is just barely learning how to stay consistent with their training and nutrition.
Amen.
Cool.
You hit it.
Um, this is pretty much the same thing we've been talking about, right? Just move
Yeah,
on
well,
to the
just
next thing.
real quick.
Okay,
So vasodilators is
that's too big of a word for me, so we'll let you take this.
it's a supplement that allows more blood flow to be going through your body. It actually expands your blood vessels. So things like caffeine. It's why people take coffee. It's why people have caffeine in a pre workout, and people think, wow, I have so much more energy because you literally do. Your blood vessels are expanding. You get more blood flow, breathe better, everything like that, more strength. So yeah, vasodilators, awesome thing to have pre workout during a workout, which is just caffeine.
So, question: is this already in pre-workout or no?
Um,
Some.
in a form of caffeine, yeah.
Okay.
If it's a stim, yeah.
And then, could you take this alone? Is it separate?
No, vasodilator is like the scientific term representing caffeine.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, you can't like take caffeine. You take a form of caffeine.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Fat burners, overrated,
Ew,
underrated?
overrated.
I would say overrated.
It's coming
I
from a dude who took fat burners. I took
yeah,
fat
I
burners.
took fat burners. We took fat burners. I don't have my clients take fat burners, even on a 12-week program, which is pretty fast. I mean, short period, right?
Yeah,
So here's the thing: deficit cardio, you're gonna burn fat. What fat burners is, and I'll give you the simple term. Zach will probably go get a little bit more scientific with it. Fat burners just they're not fat burners. Okay, fat burners are just sort of something to help you burn calorie or increase your energy, right? So it's going to help you burn calories sort of throughout the period of how long ever the fat burners last. Um, but again, they're not going to burn the fat. They're just going to increase your energy or at least burn calories, keep um, your heart rate up. If anything, it's going to keep your metabolism going. Um, in the simple form, again, it's just burning calories, right? Whereas you burn calories, you end up burning what less or more calories burned, more and fat weight and fat you're going to burn. So it's not technically a fat burner, but what would you say?
yeah. So it does exactly what you just said. It helps you burn more calories just even at resting if you were
Yeah,
to just take it and sit at the desk.
yeah, exactly.
And it does that by increasing your heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these fat burner things are actually made up of like a caffeine like
Mm-hmm.
ingredient that
Yeah.
just spike your heart rate. And a lot of studies show that the fat burners that people recommend, the dose that they have you at isn't even enough to actually increase your heart rate that much.
Mm,
So it's like they're scamming you for free money,
yeah.
calling it a fat burner.
Right.
Question for you though: you took fat burners? Was it
Mm-hmm.
during a prep or something?
Yeah.
The last one, or was it like? Did you have a
Yeah.
coach that
Last one.
recommended?
Mm-hmm.
He recommended fat burners.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what compound it was?
I don't. It was from it was like fat. It was from Absolute D supplements. I think that's the brand. Um, I think it was like called Fat Free or something like that.
Mm,
I tell you what, though, another thing that fat burners do is it makes you like feel hungry. Like it'll get you to feel like you're on an empty stomach and that you just need to eat something. A lot of people too, if you take fat burners on an empty stomach, you will feel just not. I would
yeah,
say nauseous
yeah,
sometimes. It make you feel nauseous. And I've had clients where they took it on an empty stomach because they're trying to lose weight. They're trying to burn calories, and it's just like sometimes they feel like they want to faint. Um, and yeah, so fat burners. At the end of the day, they're just to burn more calories. You could literally get the same results if you were to just increase your cardio or eat less, right? So fat burners, I would say a reason why I took it was again trying to maximize my
Hmm.
results, in which I was already in a deficit, cardio was on point, training was on point, but it was again to increase those calorie burn um, levels at total for the whole day. Um, and again, you got to understand that you got to do your research when it comes to doing something like this, because you got to figure out, okay, how much dosage should you take, right? Like for me, I was taking probably, I don't even know the right dosage, but I was probably taking 2 capsules like before and after a workout or something, you know? So it was like even maybe before or after a meal, I would take it. I can't remember the exact dosage or when I took it.
Do
I
you
think it
think
was
two
around,
was a recommended, or did he have you taken?
he had me take
Yeah,
it.
see, that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I think even the label was like one or maybe two,
Yeah,
but I think I took more than that.
yeah, I got
So
you.
he was definitely increasing the dosage. Um, you do the math too. It's like, okay, how much calories do you need to burn? This is your deficit. This is your how much cardio you're burning. I mean, how much calories you're burning during cardio. So it's like when you get all that math down, then you can say, okay, this is how much you should take. For
Hmm.
fat burners. But again, overrated. People are wasting money, man.
100%. It's like people are going to like the further extent of what can I do to lose weight? What can I do to lose body fat? Like the most extreme things you can do, people are going towards. And
Yeah,
they're just normal people. Like if
yeah,
you're overweight or obese, you do not have to go to that extent. You're not Nate on a bodybuilding show competing.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, fat burners are again not what people think they are, and that's the lack of knowledge that people just have, in which they invest, they spend all this money on fat burners. It's almost as if you're trying to cheat your way through your
Mm-hmm.
goals,
Mm-hmm.
right? What happens when you cheat your way to your goal is you end up either getting in a worse position, or I mean, it's almost as if you're like going to get like you see those guys on the internet that like legit go and just remove the fat. What do they call that?
Yeah, dude, there's so many. The surgeries, the
Yeah,
bariatric, there's the sleeve,
yeah,
there's so many different sleeve type surgeries.
it's insane.
Yeah.
And then they end up getting the weight back. Like,
Yeah.
and there's a lot we can dive
I
into
know
that.
a
It's a
lot of
whole
people that
another
have had
story.
surgery and it's so bad.
Yeah, that's just the result of not wanting it. It's just too lazy. They're not willing to put in the work. They have the money, so they'll go and buy it, and pay for it. But at that point, it's like almost there's this like the saying, but it's like nothing comes easy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're right.
then when you do get it easy, it's like it's never a good feeling. You don't feel good about yourself cheating your way through
Right.
stuff.
Moral of the story:
More
do
of the
not
story.
rely on any of these supplements as the main way you're going to reach your goals. Rely on your diet and your training.
Amen. There you go. All right, so we're gonna dive into let's do one more thing is L-glutamine. Um, I like L-glutamine. I would say it's underrated. I would say it's more so going to be beneficial for your immune system, but then also I think it does do a little bit of recovery for yourself. 10 grams a day. You can either take it in the morning, right when you wake up, or around your training. I usually always took L-glutamine growing up, and yeah, I liked it.
Dude, L-glutamine has a lot of fat loss, fat burning chemical properties of it too. Like it's an insane. It's not a fat burner; it's an actual
Mm.
chemical. But I would take it if you were on some sort of diet, fasting, or even if it's in a lot of pre-workouts.
Mm.
So maybe look for that in a pre-workout if you care about trying to burn body fat.
Mhm. Let's keep it moving here. We got nutrient supplements here. So obviously we're going to talk about vitamins. These are also supplements. These are going to be more of the micronutrients, things that your body needs to function on a healthy level. And so number one, multivitamins. I think these are underrated. You do want to get some good quality multivitamins, because they say that most Americans, or even people in the world, do not get the normal recommendation of nutrients a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we all lack in some sort of nutrients. on a daily basis, in which a multivitamin is going to help fill in those gaps, right? So whether you're on a fitness journey or not, multivitamin is going to be crucial for you to actually get your nutrient intake levels up, to par. Um, and so, yeah, anything on
I
multivitamins?
mean, yeah, I just want to say multivitamins are the best way to just optimize your health.
Yeah.
Brain function, weight loss, muscle growth, just functioning, period.
Mhm.
Your libido, your hormones, everything goes back to your vitamin, your micronutrient levels. Multivitamin, best way to hit all of those
Mhm.
goals.
So, what's your dosage for multivitamin?
Ooh, the dosage in terms of
Like how
what
many?
percentages overall of certain things that I'm looking for, like what.
No, it's just like what is your? I mean, let's say multivitamin has everything in it. Not talking about brands, not talking about the actual what's in there. What is your typical dosage? Like, how much capsules do you take, and your daily intake of multivitamins?
Ideally, it I recommend a multivitamin where you only have to take it once a day. And I'm looking for probably 150% minimum on like 15 different nutrients.
Okay, gotcha. Awesome. Calcium.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bunch all these together.
Okay,
These
yeah,
three.
that's fine. Yeah,
These are like the muscle building, main muscle building nutrient supplements, which are calcium, magnesium, zinc. Not just for muscle growth, but just as you get older, you want a strong bone density.
yeah,
This is why people are deteriorating when they're 60 and they fall and break a hip because
yeah,
they just have horrible hip strength,
yeah. I think
bone
I think
muscle,
for me, what
bone muscle, not hip strength. Sorry, keep going.
for me, I think about my boys, and I'm like, I want to start them out. And this is the whole reason why people will say milk is good for you. Oh, it makes your bones stronger because it has calcium in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you can just hop on a supplement of calcium that you take your whole life. You're gonna have great bone density. Like if you think about um, just professional athletes or like basketball, you ever seen those where they like make a move and their whole freaking knee or ankle just pops out of
Yeah,
there. The whole bone
yeah.
literally pops right out. Weak bones, bro. Right?
I
Weak.
guess, yeah, yeah. Overall, yeah.
Overall. So they just missing out on the calcium, So calcium is going to help with bone density. So is magnesium and zinc. But then again, we can talk about the whole, with zinc, obviously is huge with your immune system. Fighting off those. What is it? An anti. Um, So what I'm looking for. Oh yeah, Zach.
I don't know, dude. Anti who?
Anti. Well, it just
What?
fights off all the bad stuff. The bacteria, the
Autoimmune or something?
autoimmune.
That's
Yeah,
what you were
that's.
thinking
I
of?
don't know. I
I
don't
don't
think
think
that's the
that fit.
word.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
that.
whatever.
I don't
People
know, but
know it.
yeah.
People know what I'm talking about.
Zinc was popping off during
COVID.
COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's like zinc. I feel like is the answer to a lot of people's colds and sicknesses, and you know, get those zinc packs.
Mm-hmm.
The vitamin C and zinc. Drink
That's
that.
why
So
everyone's sick nowadays, dude. They're not taking enough zinc.
yeah. So anyway, let's move on here. We'll talk about omega-3 and fish oils.
Yeah, so this is like the top skin, hair, healthy nutrient for like your physical body. I don't know how else to word that, but yeah, a lot of people probably aren't getting enough omega threes in their diet, and
Yeah,
there's actually a balance that you need between your omega threes and what the omega sixes. What are they?
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so many different aspects of it that you have to realize that you're probably not hitting, and even if you are eating fish every day, you're not going to be getting the balance between those two omegas.
It has to be the right type of fish too. Actually, it has
Really?
to be like wild caught salmon
Whoa, no
versus
joke.
just like uh, the basic salmon.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
So even this is why like omega-3s and like multivitamins. It's like if you're not getting it, like in order to actually reach your daily recommendation of nutrients, you actually have to eat like a few different types of greens, right? Like
Mm.
leaves and greens. And then like when it comes to omega-3s, like you actually have to eat the right types of fish. So if you're not eating like the wild caught salmon, like you're not gonna get that, enough omega-3s. And you have to eat that like at least 3 days 3 times a week, to get the right amount of dosages. Or yeah,
Jeez.
so
Fun fact.
yeah, so omega 3s is actually also going to help with your brain and heart. Um, blood flow and function. So not only skin and stuff like that, but omega threes I believe is also crucial for the blood flow of your organs, and also omega threes does help with recovery. I would say too. Um, and then we can talk about the vitamins A through E. You're gonna get these if you take a multivitamin. Pretty simple. I necessarily haven't ever focused on getting much of these, except my coach did have me on a lot of vitamin D and C. And apart from lack of sun and staying healthy, I think there are other benefits of like even building muscle too.
I agree for sure. I think you need to be having all five of these in your diet, no matter what you're doing. But yeah, they should be in any type of multivitamin that you're looking for.
Yeah. Okay, what to look out for when you're buying. So we've talked about what type of supplements there are, when you shouldn't buy them or take them, So this is considering now you're at a place of like, okay, I'm consistent with my diet, I'm consistent with my training. I do want to increase my performance and achieve better results. So therefore, now you're in a place of actually buying. So we do want to talk about this because this is a whole another world of which you're going to dive into what you should look out for when buying. So number one is like, okay, which ones are actually safe? Like, how can you trust the right supplements out there, right? Something I do want to mention is that when I became a sponsored athlete for Dot Fit about a year ago, which I'm no longer with them, but when I learned a lot about actually, who to trust out there, and they did really well on presenting like what you should actually who you should trust, what brands out there actually have a bad name, or made a bad name for themselves. Like I was sharing with Zach, I can't remember, it was Optimum Nutrition or GNC, whichever company it was. They actually ended up testing their protein, in which the label said that there was 25 grams, typical 24, 25 grams of protein in per scoop, and they tested it and only found 2 actual grams of protein in there. So imagine if you're taking these supplements, right, and you're expecting to see results, and you're like, man, why isn't this working? You're gonna just blame the product, but don't really understand that. Hey, like, are you gonna question whether or not they have the right dosage? So isn't it crazy to think like you're expecting to get 24, 25 grams of protein, and yet you're only getting two?
Yeah, and what's even scarier is if you're not consuming protein, what are you consuming?
That. And it's actually, they said it was like a filler. It was like a protein filler. So it's like they can actually put in their label protein, but it's
Yeah.
actually a filler, and which lowers their cost,
Hmm.
and they sell more. So you got to understand too. We haven't even touched base on this, but supplements is a huge marketing brand, like
Oh yeah.
company, industry. I would
Hmm.
say it's like apart from fitness, it's its own industry. Supplements,
Yeah.
vitamins, and health. And so a lot of supplements out there today are only promoting to make more money. And so you have to also consider that when you're buying, okay, are these even safe to take, right? If you want to think about longevity and optimizing your health, you want to be safe about it. And I'll share a quick example. Don't mean to throw them down. Maybe it's just my lack of education, but I had an option to work with Alpha Line, meaning just become an ambassador with Alpha Line, or NutriCost. I've used NutriCost before. I've seen results with them before, and they have a ton of options and products out there that are third party tested, which is something you want to look out for. And I had a decision to either work with them or Alpha Line, and I actually chose NutriCross. Now, Alpha Line, I'm sure you guys heard of it. It's this very well known brand now. It's popular. It's a lot of hype out there. A lot of social media influencers use this brand. But I wanted to go with something where it's like, okay, as a fitness coach, do I want to be known for just giving people supplements that maybe make you feel good or have this some sort of feeling, or there's like that's famous out there, or do I want to be known for a coach who's actually going to give you like solid quality, for sure, legit supplements, right? Because like Alpha Line, they're just it's just hype, and there's a lot of people using it. I've seen reviews, and people was saying like, yeah, I felt something, or I didn't feel anything, or this worked, this didn't work. And at the end of the day, they're not third party tested, so it's like, okay, what is actually in there? You know what I mean? And that from that standpoint, I just see they're in it for the money. Maybe some of them their stuff works. I don't know, but I wanted to know for sure that okay, the supplements that I was going to use myself and recommend others was going to be legit. Um, they had the right dosage, and I was going to get the bang for my buck. So just wanted to throw that out there. There are companies out there who run their supplements through a third party in which they test their stuff to make sure they have the right dosage. So I would say that's one thing to look out for when buying is look on the brand and the label to see if it's third party tested. It should say it. I should have just brought one of my supplements here to show an example, but we'll do that next time. Um, what else, Zach? What else would you say you would look out for when buying?
Man, you hit almost everything. Like that
Did
was
I?
pretty much
Shoot.
ideal. Yeah, no, that was perfect. I guess one of the things that I would add is just because something costs a lot of money, don't automatically assume that it's going to be like the highest quality product for it.
Yeah.
Because even like Alpha Lion that Nate's talking about is one of the more expensive brands out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they're throwing in a bunch of these fillers too, just like
Yeah.
GNC.
Right.
So you got to be cognitive of how scientific based the company actually is that you're
Mm-hmm.
buying from.
Yeah. I would say too, yeah, like on the other side of it, for the most part, again, the more you pay, probably the better the quality of supplements. But again, you just have to do your research, right? Because again, it is about the money these days with these guys. And, you know, like for example, steel, man, their stuff is so
Mm-hmm.
expensive. But like I've seen people use them and they get really like good pumps. And I don't know if they're third party tested or not. They might be, but it's like, shoot, they're so expensive out of this world that I'm like, okay, there's some solid stuff in there. I feel like, you know. Anyway, another thing to consider or look for when buying is do your research and look at the reviews, the ratings. Right, when I was trying to figure out who I should work with, Alpha Line or NutriCost, I looked at the reviews, the ratings, to see what others said about this product or this company, and that's huge because these people had already taken it, tested it out, so you don't have to, and now can just learn from them, and now you can decide whether or not you should buy from them. So again, what are the things to look out for when you're buying? Number one, is it safe? Are they tested? Do they have the right amount of dosages? What is the cost versus quality ratio? You definitely want to consider those things. Zach put a good point here. It's like, who is the company ran by? If it's from just a bunch of 22-year-olds, young dudes trying to make money and make a brand, versus actual scientific doctors who've tested and tried things that came up with an amazing product, who you're going to go with, right? And then obviously, like I just said, reviews, ratings, they're going to actually help guide you in the right direction and considering what supplements you should take. Next, these are also other things to consider, budget, cost efficiency. This is a whole nother side to it. It's okay if you're a beginner. Again, this is also considering now, again, training nutrition is on
Mm-hmm.
point. Okay, let's talk, Zach, about. I mean, we already shared our priorities in which our supplements are at, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, someone's on a budget. What would you recommend?
I'm
As long
recommending,
as their nutrition and training is on point.
okay, as long as your nutrition and training is on point, I recommend protein powder first off. Get a protein goal through the protein powder, and then creatine for sure. Protein powder, creatine, and if you can't afford it, pre workout. Those
Yeah,
are my top three. Protein powder, non negotiable. Creatine, I would also say non negotiable,
yeah,
but pre workout's more for if you need the motivation to get in the gym.
yeah. There you go. And so that's obviously considering if you're on a budget, so you can prioritize that. But let's also talk about the vitamins and minerals because those are just the performance supplements. So now, what would you prioritize your vitamins at?
I would probably prioritize a multivitamin, non-negotiable number one, and then probably the some type of fish oil or fish pill.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, omega 3 or
Yeah.
fish pill.
Okay.
Those two are my essentials. How about you?
Yeah, I would say multivitamin top priority. You should definitely invest in that, along with protein and I would start there, really, just to start off with, and then if you can afford it, um, because here's the thing with multivitamin, you're covering a lot of bases there,
Mhm.
right? And then you can even up the dosage too. You can take, if it says take one a day, you can take two a day. So you're just making sure you're getting those nutrients in. Next thing, yes, I would say is omega threes for sure, and calcium is next after that. So and magnesium and zinc. So there are supplements out there that kind of have everything like magnesium, zinc, and calcium all together. I take a calcium and magnesium, so it's two in one, you could say. So just really consider those things when you're buying it. Okay, so you don't have to buy multiple things. You can just buy one maybe bottle that has a lot of things in there.
That's a good tip. Not even just a multivitamin, but just like a package
Yeah,
of different vitamins in one pill.
like if you have like even for the performance supplements, you want to save money, buy a pre workout that has creatine in there, and then
Amen.
that way you can get two in one kind of deal.
There you
But
go.
that means that you got to take pre workout every day. So
Which I'm all for. You know, I'm all for
I
that.
know you are, Zach. Okay, guys. So that's pretty much it. Last thing we want to do say is, which I've never done, Zach has, get your blood work done. Why would you encourage someone to do that, Zach?
Yeah, so there
Why
are.
would you encourage me to do that? Because I haven't done it.
I would highly encourage Nate to do this, not only because he's been lifting for so long and he doesn't know where his health and body is, but because it's deeper than just a testosterone level.
Yeah,
Like, testosterone is just one aspect. And since we have seen that he's competed in bodybuilding and has won shows and whatnot, I could probably assume that he's not very deficient in a lot of nutrients. But the normal person probably has a lot of things that are affecting them mentally more than even physically.
mm,
And it all stems back to vitamin deficiencies.
yeah,
So I think getting your blood tested and seeing where you're at on a body fluid level is so incredible for all aspects, mental, physical health, your hormones, all of that.
kind of scared to do it, honestly.
I kind of would be, dude. I was scared the first time I did it. Was like, whoa. And you get more scared now because you understand, like, this is where my levels are supposed to be. This is how it's negatively impacting me. Like, the more you know, the more scared you get.
Yeah. I want to dive on a whole different topic, but like really quick. As a Christian, it's like, should we truly be concerned about these things?
Ooh,
Because, like, yes, I think taking care of your health is important. Back then, they didn't have blood work,
true.
so it's like, who really sustained you? You know what I mean?
So I love that, and I hate to make a counter argument against God,
Yeah,
but when we do it to ourselves, in terms of we're making ourselves vitamin deficiency by
right,
eating
right,
these garbage foods, these
right.
highly processed foods. So could you make the argument that since we did this to ourselves, we have to also be accountable just to get it back on track and eat like healthy foods to reach our goals?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that at the end of the day, it's we make choices on what we choose to eat, and therefore we reap the results of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we put into our body, that's usually what we get out of it. So I think, yes, taking care of your health, knowing where your levels are at, and then trying to meet those um, requirements are is what I think is taking care of the temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a point though when you do get sort of obsessed. It's like, oh, I'm missing out on like vitamin D3, like, it's like, and then you're spending a lot of money, right? It's like, what if
Yeah,
you don't have the money?
yeah.
You're vitamin deficient, but yet God wants you to steward your money well as well. It's like, what comes first? What's your priority? You know what I mean? And sometimes, even though we are maybe risking our lives, it's like, what's more important? You know.
Yeah.
So that's something to also consider. Is where do you feel like taking all these supplements is something that God wants you to do, right? Or is it just living a good life, working out, having fun with it, eating good, right? And that's it. I think there's simplicity in that as well. And then if you're trying to take it to the whole another level, you can talk about gear. It's like really asking God, like, is this something you wanted me to be doing? Because I've definitely considered it, even just thinking down the road. If I do want to continue to compete, or maybe when I'm older, my testosterone levels are low, and I still want to be in the gym performing well. Who knows? With that being said, guys, we hope this has benefited you and given you some solid information on which direction to go when taking supplements, when buying supplements, what to consider when looking for the right supplements. We don't know everything, but we just hope that what we know, sharing it with you guys today, has helped you in some way, shape, or form. We do appreciate you guys and love you and support. We appreciate your support. Um, Please let us know what you guys would like to talk about, what we would like to talk about next, or what you guys would like to hear from us. We're super passionate about fitness. We love God, Jesus, and we're just thankful that we get to do this every Monday. So please tune in every single Monday. Zach and Nate talks about faith, family, and fitness. Today we talked about supplementation. If you have any questions, please hit us up individually or through our socials. But again, until next time, this is Zach and Nate, Pre Pump Show. Peace out.